Today we are going to see a very basic vanilla sponge which you can prepare at home with the basic ingredients available at your place. Also, the sponge would be super soft and would turn out great like you're seeing in the video. Let's just see what all ingredients we are going to need for this beautiful soft vanilla sponge. We are going to need sugar 76 grams, next ingredient we have is refined flour, that would be 96 grams. We will need curd almost 100 grams. Any neutral or refined oil. Baking powder we are going to add almost half a teaspoon. Baking soda 1/4 teaspoon. We'll also use vanilla essence almost 1 teaspoon in this recipe. Now let's start. Take a big bowl for this recipe. Now we are going to add curd to the bowl. Next we are going to add any neutral oil. Make sure the oil is not mustard, sesame, which has a very strong taste. You can take any refined oil or neutral tasting oil. Now with the help of a whisk, we are going to mix these two ingredients very nicely. One of them is oil, one of them is moisture. So mix well before we add anything else. Keep on mixing till the time the curd and the neutral oil mixes nicely and makes a homogeneous mixture. You may use hand blender for this part. Now we are going to add sugar in this recipe. You can use any granulated sugar and mix it with the curd and the oil. Make sure you always scrape down the bowls with the ingredients, as because this is also part of the measurement in grams. Now mix it all together till the time the sugar dissolves. You would have to keep on whisking it till the time the sugar dissolves completely. In this step, you can definitely take a help of a hand blender, especially if you are making it in a bulk quantity. Now we are going ahead to make the batter. This may take any time from 2 to 5 minutes depending upon the quantity you are making for the sugar to dissolve in the curd and the oil. Now we are going to add the vanilla essence. You may alter the flavor depending upon your choice. You may add pineapple, strawberry, different kinds of essence. You may also add emulsions, which are basically the color and the essence in the same bottle, and customize this vanilla sponge recipe. Now let's add in the dry ingredients. We are going to use refined flour or maida. It's very important to sieve the dry ingredients. It adds aeration to the recipe and also it removes any kind of pest. Now let's add baking powder. Always take leveled measurement whenever you're using cups or spoons. Never take heaped measurements. It may alter the grams which you are taking. Look how I am measuring and scraping all the excess baking soda and baking powder. These are the leavening agents of your baking sponge. Sieve it thoroughly. And discard whatever is there in the sieve. Now let's take a whisk or a spatula and mix everything together into a homogeneous mixture. The batter of the sponge should always be flowy in nature. Now, depending upon the flour which you are using, the consistency may differ. To adjust the consistency, you may add milk or water. But do make sure you keep the consistency of the sponge right. If it is too liquidy, it will not bake properly, and if it is too dry, it may have cracks. Make sure you do not overmix the batter so as to the gluten formation is too much. Now let's take a baking tin. You can grease it with a fat. You may also dust it with some flour, which is known as double coating. You may or you may not add a parchment paper at the bottom of the tin. Make sure the grease is around all the corners of the tin. Make sure you distribute the fat nicely throughout the tin so that all your effort which you have put into making the sponge doesn't go in vain if the sponge doesn't come out. Now let's pour the batter. Look at the consistency, the flowy consistency of the vanilla sponge batter. Pour it into the baking tin. Scrape all the batter from the bowl. Now tap it once on the platform before you put it into the oven. After baking, cool it down and check with a toothpick if it is done or not. Once the toothpick comes clean, this sponge is done. After cooling down, take a knife and scrape it around the sides of the tin, making sure not to disturb the cake or cut the cake by any chance. Be very careful doing this. And look at the soft texture of your sponge. Now flip it over and take out the cake and cool it on a rack before you do any frosting or storing the cake.